All right, we're recording here as well.
Okay. All right, we are August 15th at 7 p.m. Village of Minerva Park Council meeting. Starting with roll call, we have Council President Wolf,
Here.
Councilperson Bruger,
Here.
Councilperson Camera,
Present.
and Councilperson Koss.
Present.
And Councilperson Shrestha and McNamara are excused. And let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have August 11th council meeting minutes to approve.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. I love to admit when I'm wrong and I do crazy, silly little things. So we're just going to go with, there is a correction to the non-voting member of planning and zoning. I called him another resident. I just wasn't thinking. He's the person we talked to about electric, and so I did. Tommy Grant is actually the planning and zoning new member. He sent me an email, and of course, it just is what it is. So it is in fact Tommy Grant. Tommy Grant is the person that. So I would actually like to. Could we just change it? Do you guys want to do like a motion?
Just making a motion to amend
Okay.
your previous recommendation to
Okay.
write Tommy.
I would like to make a motion to amend the new non-voting member to planning and zoning to Tommy Grant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so he is official. We have gotten his email and all that good stuff. So I knew who I was doing. I just called him the wrong name. So we actually changed this meeting for anybody that's watching. We changed this meeting from Thursday, August 18th to tonight because we wanted to talk about some real estate matters in executive session. And that option is no longer a valid option, a viable option at this point. So instead of going into executive session to talk about other potential real estate matters for us to relocate while the building is under construction, we would prefer to talk about it in the actual meeting for more transparency. So we are going to discuss a couple options that we have come up with, a list of pros and cons, let you guys kind of think about it, talk about it, see where your guys' heads are with this, and then just kind of go from there. So the first thing that we did is we had looked at, well, not the first thing, but we have looked at purchasing a house in the village that was actually, we had a resident that brought a house that was coming on the market to our attention, which then we looked at a couple houses that were on the market. So that was one option. We've always talked about the potential of maybe trailers on this site or another site. And the third option would be obviously to lease some sort of commercial property.
Mayor Hughes, just for the record, I think you're getting ahead of the game. Why would we be looking at these options? I know, but I don't think
Okay,
people
no,
on
that's
camera
fine.
know.
Perfect. In the event that we do, in fact, again, that's why we're not trying to purchase something right now, but to know what we're gonna do in the event that legislation does pass next week to move out of here. We are going to have to move out of the building and that's been known for a little while, due to the asbestos in the building. So all of the administration as well as the police department will need to move out of here during construction, all of it. So the three options that we looked at was house, trailer, and leased property.
And will
Does
that
that
be for the
explain?
duration of the construction or just for a
Correct,
certain phase?
no, it'll actually be for the duration. In order to move, we're talking about the fact that we're gonna have to move everything out of here. So to move everything out of here, move it back and then move it out again, isn't gonna be beneficial after talking to some moving companies. So, if you guys wanna talk about the idea, the pros and cons, I just kind of sent those out. There are
Sure.
many pros and cons that you guys can come up with.
Yeah.
And some pros, some people may think are cons and vice versa. But this again is just to get everybody on the same page as to, again, the house is currently not an option. The house that we were looking at, those were the pros. It is not gonna be a pro for every single house, obviously.
Right.
So that's why that is a little outdated, just for the record.
So there is not a house immediately
Currently.
available to, got it. So-
Not that would work for what we're looking at. There is still an option, but honestly, it doesn't fit enough of the needs that it would make sense. And again, we're not trying to do something, just because. So that one, the house that we looked at, just to go over, there was garage storage for maintenance, there was basement, it was a huge basement that would have allowed us, instead of using storage pods, to use.
Right.
It was inside the village limits, easy access for our maintenance. You could get a home warranty on it in case of furnace and ACs and things like that. Obviously, it was move-in ready. We wouldn't have had to do anything other than getting the internet and things like that up and running. Server would not have been an issue, getting it in there for safety purposes. The police department would have been able to work out of it. And of course, you guys can see some of the cons. Parking could be an issue. Obviously, the price for some people, you have to sell it at the end of this. There was no space for mayor's court. So there's just a couple other things. So because that's not a viable option right this minute, I would still like to know what people's thoughts are. It would be funded out of the general fund at this point in time, and obviously, once we sold it, it would go back in. Obviously, I'm not going to say that we are going to make money on it, because no one can say that.
Right.
So nobody can promise that we're gonna make money on the house or sell the house and even break even. So not gonna go there. So that was one of the options. At the end, I think I'll kind of get everybody's feedback on which one they would like to see. On Friday, on Thursday, 2 houses did come on the market. So this is not an out of question thing still.
I think we need a solution for mayor's court.
So with that, if we did do a house, we are looking at moving mayor's court. We have reached out to Blendon Township. We've also reached out to Clinton to be able to hold mayor's court in there. So those are 2 of the options that we would be looking for mayor's court. So let's move on to the trailer. Eric has a lot more information about that. And for purposes, I'm not giving the address to the house or anything that we were looking at.
Especially since it's not,
Yes,
it's not a
it's not an
viable
option right now. If
so
it,
it's,
if it comes back on the market or something, at least I'll know what your guys' thoughts are. Or another one.
I did advise the mayor, and the one thing we can do is she can enter into any contract contingent upon contract.
yeah.
But she wants to obviously know how you guys feel about that particular.
Well, at the same time, is that gonna fly in most real estate deals anymore? Because with the
Yes,
market,
it
is anyone
could.
gonna go where the,
Well,
Depends.
is anyone gonna do
yeah,
a
a
contingent
person-
sale? And
Yeah, the
if they
person
wanna-
selling would have to agree to it.
Correct.
It's something that we can propose and offer, have to bring it back to council for approval. Obviously, we can speed up, like anything, they can consider it if they like the offer. Say, all right, move forward, we can bring it back to you for a few meetings and get things done.
Right.
Proceed in your various ways.
Yeah.
Potentially calling an executive session or something, or just a
Yeah.
meeting pretty quick and early, if it was something that we thought was a great option. And I don't blame you.
well, and you know more about real estate than I do, but I'm under the
And,
impression that the market's hot enough now that,
yeah. And in transparency purposes, again, I would not obviously be using my license for the
Yes.
deal. I'm just saying it just so it's said. Would absolutely not be, and this would be done through our attorney. So there would not be real estates involved, any types of real estate commissions involved in that whatsoever.
nothing personal, council personal.
I just have to say
That
it.
type of
I'm
math, I just
wondering,
can't wear.
only because people listening, maybe there's something coming up on the market.
Correct.
Is there a specific size, like were there so many bedrooms we were looking at, or specific square footage, or?
I would say this, we did not just look at one property, we looked at 2. The thing that made this particular idea appealing is there were 2 living rooms, or 2 family rooms, or whatever you wanna call them. 2 large rooms, and that's what was appealing. When you walked in, you could have admin in that particular area, and then the police department could actually occupy the other large room. And then the bedrooms would then be turned into the office space. This one again was a really good option because of the storage in the basement, and it had a 2-car garage. So one of the biggest battles that we're facing right now is, where is our maintenance stuff gonna go, because he needs it. The current thought is a pod. I mean, there's really not much else we can do, because it has to be accessible, through all of winter and all of that. So, there's a lot of moving parts to that. The house, again, was it clicked the most boxes. The one that it didn't really click was Mayor's Court, but you're gonna see that again here in just a second, so potentially.
Real quick point of order, do we want, I think we skipped over minutes, do we wanna,
I did
No.
not.
did I vote for that and just forget?
You did.
Okay, my fault then. Sorry, I was looking through the packet and was looking over the minutes. I
Mark,
must
you
have been asleep during that part.
know, at least you
My
woke,
fault.
at least you woke up. Okay, so, yes, to answer your question, we did look at another one, and just didn't have that second room. So that really would have made it difficult for us to be able to use. It was still, there was nothing wrong with it. We're not looking for any, updated anything. This particular house was extremely updated, which would have been great to sell it later on. But again, it doesn't matter, it's not there. But it's something that there were a lot of great options with this that would have made being able to function a lot easier. And I think that was probably the biggest perk to it, is just a lot of the moving parts would have been solved. So today, we were able to get access to the trailers that we have been talking about. This is not the first trailer, so again, just for transparency, we have gone and looked at other options. There was a very minimal cost to one. It did not pan out with holes and things. Holes in floors and all that good stuff. Yeah, it was not well cared for. So this is, and I'm only saying that because this isn't the only trailer we've looked at. We've been doing our due diligence on this. So, Chief, Leah, Brian, which is maintenance, and Eric all went and looked at the trailer today. He's got some pictures. That's what these pictures are. This is of the trailer that they went and viewed today. Again, a lot of moving parts when it comes to something like this. All doable. It's just a matter of what benefits which way you guys want to go. So I'm going to let him kind of go over this, and then we can talk a little bit about the pros and cons of a trailer.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of council, I'll start with the first sheet, just kind of go through. So this is your standard school mobile trailer. This is a 24-foot by 60-foot trailer. It is a split trailer, so it can go on the road. So it's got two 12-foot halves, and what they do is they bring it to the site and they reattach everything to make it watertight again. Right now what they've done is when you go to an inner picture, you see this membrane they put in between, so that's to keep the water out, obviously, while it's in position to be transported. These guys come with water hookup, heat, air conditioning. They were used recently for a school. And to give you kind of an idea on size, we've got the picture here. My numbering did not come through in the upper corner, but you've got this one with Chief and Leah. You can see this one. We'll take this one.
24 by 60, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So this is so if you take the next one, then behind it should be the one with darker with Brian. We had to kind of make we were crawling around to get access to different parts. The guy forgot to give us complete access, but we got into it. If you put those side by side like this, you can kind of get an idea of how they look. All right, so it's two 12 by 30 rooms. Essentially, it turns into a 24 by 30 room. They've got a demarcation in the middle. We were able to get access to 3/4 of it, and what we could tell in there, and the back two are just like this. You would just put them together and kind of put them upside down, and you get if you were standing in the room looking back and forth in the two sections. Okay, so it seems to be watertight, seems to not have holes, doesn't have things crawling inside of them. Good condition. Everything looks hook-upable as it is. We brought to the site. Each of these, the owner would like. He's asking, he's got two of these, actually. They're roughly about 1,444 square feet, I think, each. So a good amount of space. There is one restroom, ADA accessible in each one. He wants $15,000 a piece. If we bought both, we could probably knock him down a little bit. These are, again, assets, so once we were done with them, the upside of these guys is we would resell them in gov deals. And I would say you could make back at least half your money on them, right? So just keep that in mind. Each one, though, for a transport hookup cost is about $5,000 to $6,000, and then for each one on whatever site we choose, we have to obviously pay for some hookup from water, sewer, and AEP. So there's additional costs in there as well. So I would say on the safe side is you're looking at probably $9,000-ish per trailer to get it all hooked up and ready to go in each case. They don't need a lot of work on site, which is good. I mean, you can add stuff to them if you need to. But you've got essentially two sections that are 30 by 24. So, do you have your hand up, Councilman?
Can I get a better breakdown of the costs of maintenance?
Of maintenance?
Of the trailers, because there's no numbers here.
No, we didn't put numbers on, because we don't know. These are all estimates. He's thinking it's about 9,000 per trailer.
So she's talking about maintenance,
Maintenance
but we're also only expecting to utilize these
for
for,
10 to 12 months.
yeah, a
I
year,
don't
year at
anticipate-
most, so a
Yeah,
year's
I just wanna
maintenance.
know what the cost.
I don't anticipate there's any maintenance to these, in the sense of normal physical
So
maintenance.
even
for sure.
hookup, just like all the hookup fees, all the transport fees, I would like a breakdown of all of that, please.
Okay, sure. So, back to my, I'm sorry, I got off track. So, essentially, 15,000 trailer, add 9,000 roughly. If you wanna make it even 10, that's probably fair in case there's a little bonus stuff you wanna do paint, you know, I mean, they're in the condition they're in. So essentially, you're looking at about 25,000 a trailer. We bought both, probably not.
30 with the transport, right? You said
Well,
15
yeah,
plus
but
5 plus
I'm
10.
gonna add my hookups and everything like that, so that's why I'm gonna say I'm gonna be about.
Oh, the 9 is the transport and the hookups?
Yes.
Okay, got
Nine,
it.
so I'm just making it easy for the math
Yep.
purposes.
So about
So we'll say
25.
25 each, with some potential sale back at the end, okay? So that's what you're looking at in that regard. I think in comparison, you know, we have a few places those could go, right? So we gotta fully vet that out, but you've got a few places those could go. The mayor's been busy investigating a few different sites. There's pros and cons, and we can talk through the pros and cons of all the different sites, you know, at a later date, you know, if this is an option you wanna move forward with. There's commercial options too. They have an office, and I just sent something around. The commercial office is about 42,000 a year and it's a 1-year lease. But the other option, which may be very reasonable, is the site where the 2-minute truck are right over here. That comes to about 3,400 square feet, and it looks to be in good condition from the picture, we have to go see it. But that comes to 25,000 a year.
Now, is
for
that
lease.
next to 2-minute and truck or 2-minute truck
It's
moving
second
out?
floor, so it's a second floor office, we have to go see it, it's not a first floor access. So it's
Okay.
on the second floor, so but it's got offices, it's got space to do mayor's court, to have meetings.
I will say this, I knew someone who worked at 2-minute and a truck years ago and had to quit when they had foot surgery because the second floor that they had to get up to is not handicap accessible. I don't know what the other end of the building is.
That was my first question.
We have to go see, but
Yeah.
we don't have an officially handicap accessible site either.
Yes.
I'm seeing a short-term
Yes.
non-issue with that.
But we have one that's, you know, not technically handicap accessible, but not go up 12 steps, not handicap accessible.
Yeah,
Each of these are gonna have pros and cons as we go through the
Right.
process.
And I think that was the biggest thing, is
Yeah,
making
for
sure
sure.
that we were pretty open about some of those. On the trailer, is there gonna be an additional cost to get a ramp going up to it as well, into the stairs?
Good question on that, and that's where I would add my extra grand that I was
Okay.
talking about, because that's where that'll come in, when you've gotta do an improvement on the front end.
Okay,
so,
we would need to add something along those lines, get it cleaned. I'm just gonna be blunt and say there is absolutely no way I'm working in Michigan colors. We're gonna have to paint that, cause everybody knows how I feel about
Those are
yellow.
Michigan colors,
Alright,
those
so
are
I-
Well,
Ukraine
mustard.
colors.
Anyways,
I-
I'm teasing.
I gotta tell you, that's a super low priority for me.
Okay, I'm painting it myself.
Alright, that's fine.
Home Depot, we
We are
already
not
had that conversation.
appropriating any money
Jason
for
can paint.
any-
I've seen it.
Now, will this property, were you just looking at, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
You're,
Go
no,
ahead.
fine.
you're fine. Ask questions.
Lease property, is that, you've
Let
looked
me
at
go
one
over
or
it.
two?
Let me go.
Do they got any room in 2999, cause that's in the village?
The,
Does not have any space, he has been very successful in leasing out his spaces.
okay. So the leased property is, I have actually talked to 2 different commercial real estate brokers, and there's no other, he did not give me 2-minute a truck as an option as well. But we also did tell them that we were looking for elevator or first floor.
Okay.
So maybe that is why. So in the
makes
4-3, in the 4-3-2-3-1, the other thing is short-term leases are very difficult. He has pointed that out a couple different times. But the pros and cons for the lease property, I'm just gonna say it, the lease property is across the street over, can I say the address or no, or should I do it yet, since we're not?
Just on corporate drive.
Yeah, it's over on Corporate Drive. So it's less than a half a mile
Yeah,
from the
it's
village.
very close.
Plenty of office space, there's obviously plenty of parking. On the trailer, that was gonna be one of the pros and cons, if you guys look at that. Let's go back to the trailer and then let's go to lease. You skipped a spot.
Yeah, I did.
So
That's why I
as,
said, sorry, I'm
and
interrupting.
I'm
You said
only,
go ahead, so I took us off course.
I think we can probably simplify this discussion a lot.
okay, what do you wanna do? I'm
So-
only saying pros
so-
and cons for people
Yeah,
watching.
Yeah, no, I understand,
Okay.
but I think that our biggest issue is time. Right? Because assuming that when we read the legislation next week.
Right.
Assuming that passes,
Right,
and I believe we are intending to pass it as an emergency.
yes,
Right, we are then on the clock to be able to have administration operating in another place.
by mid-September.
by
to end-
mid-September.
End of September.
So the idea, most of these ideas are time.
Yes,
So I think what we should really be focusing on is the things that we can accomplish in what amounts to 3 weeks,
3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks. I don't think we're buying a house in 3 to 4 weeks.
Not unless we find one tomorrow.
I think it is.
Even then, it takes a month to.
Well, I mean, there are things that can be done to move it faster, but if we weren't in contract.
I don't
on,
disagree.
On the
No.
26th, it's unlikely we're
I
in a
like your
house
way
in
of thinking.
time.
Yeah,
Right? I think that even if we were to buy these trailers tomorrow, establishing a place and getting water, electric and sewer hookups in 4 weeks is unlikely. So no matter how much I don't hate either of those options, I just don't think that they are feasible.
okay.
Right?
I'm,
Does anybody, I would love the idea of buying a house and,
we did too.
and it seems like in this market, it would probably pan out well for us. We could even, depending on financial situations, get creative with it. There's lots of opportunities there. I just don't think I don't think we'd have the time.
Well, I'm glad you said that because this is a lot of work that I put into it to come up with the exact same answer. So then let's move to the lease property. The lease property is move-in ready, not move-in
So-
ready. We would wanna clean the carpet, I'm gonna be
Sure.
honest.
So
That's
the
a
only thing I would
weekend.
circle back on
Okay,
is, I would like to be 100% certain that there are no feasible leasable properties within the village.
okay,
Provided that's the case, then I would just look for close and value.
so to answer that question, and I will triple check it because it changes daily.
Sure.
So in fairness, I don't want to be on the record by saying that was the one thing that we had looked at to start with.
Yeah.
2999, as much as people don't wanna hear that, that was,
Oh, are you
that was a
kidding?
first.
I was hoping.
I know
That
you
would've
were.
been-
That's why I
That would have
brought
been the
it
most
up.
delicious thing to happen to me in a long time.
We know that, that's why I was like, I've been doing a praying dance that it's not available, I'm just kidding, I'm totally kidding.
My prayers are counteracting yours.
I know, so we're fighting each other and maybe we're not benefiting the village, so maybe we need to stop.
It's okay.
So yes, those things have been looked at, to the point that, again, we've had 2 different commercial I'm not saying there's nothing, I'm saying that there's either too small, meaning less than
Yeah.
1,000 square feet. So to go through this really quick then, again, for the record, the building is secure with 24/7 access, there's space for our server. It's within a half a mile of the village.
This is
We-
one on Corporate Drive.
Yeah, as
Okay.
far as we're concerned, or as far as we're aware, we do not have the lease in front of us, so I'm speaking on what should be in the lease. If the AC went out or furnace went out or anything like that, that's gonna be on them, it's not gonna be
Yeah.
on us. If a roof leak, anything like that, it's not gonna be on us. So it makes the most sense without having maintenance issues on top of, which was a concern with the trailer, just saying.
The
Now,
trailers were also 50 grand.
And the annual lease on the Corporate Drive, it
was about $42,000 for the year.
And
It's
what was
pretty
the one
close.
that, someone said there was another leasable property at 25. and that's
So
a
that
substantive- Is that what you meant in a trust?
That's right down here,
Yes.
and then the other one, since I have access to the online
Yeah.
databases, the one that's over here, which got the 3 garages, is also available. It's a bit more, you know what I'm talking
Which,
about?
no.
If you're at Ponderosa and you go to the north on the drive, it's got a 3-bay garage, it looks kinda like a steeple church, it's right next to the Korean
Yeah.
church on the other side.
Okay,
So it also has up to 10,000 contiguous spaces, now it's a little more expensive on the, it looks like it is about $13.50 per square foot. So just do some math on the size of square foot that you want there, so $13.50 times,
that comes,
Will they do a 1-year lease or do we know?
well, I will have to ask him. So if you take 4,000 square feet, and maybe some of that is bay, for storage, you know, that's about $54,000 a year, that could be a viable option.
But it solves a lot of problems.
It
does.
With bays for maintenance
does.
equipment, it's on the service drive. Is that Ponderosa? That is not the village though.
No,
It is not, the city of Columbus.
But it's
correct. And this is not, I mean, again, the one we're looking at is also not.
The
right.
corporate drive, did you say it does have space for maintenance? It
No.
does not.
No.
It does not.
What do
So
we do with that?
then you
Pod.
need to rent a pod.
Challenge.
Okay.
Yep.
Right, so of the three in front of us, we have one that we believe is not, it's second floor, not accessible. We have Corporate Drive, which sounds like a reasonable price, or is a slightly less expensive, but we need additional solutions for maintenance equipment. Or, we'll call it Northland Plaza Drive, and it seems to check all the boxes.
Investigate that tomorrow.
Yes.
So, that would be the
Quick
direction.
question on that for people who aren't me, who don't care, cause I only make $150 a month. If you're working in Columbus,
Oh,
you're gonna be paying Columbus taxes and Minerva Park if our offices are there.
I wonder if
So
we
that's
can.
gonna be a 2.25% tax
We'll
hike
have to
for
see
any
how that
employee of the
works.
village.
Yeah.
We'll ask Jeff.
Maybe, I don't know, I mean,
It's an interesting question, I know we have to pay City of Columbus, we no longer work, we're not, those of us who are not residents in the village, unfortunately,
Pay both
the
anyways.
mayor would have to pay both, cause she gets
Okay.
her salary in that, so that would work for her. She'd have to
okay,
pay both.
good point, if you're not residents of the village, you don't have
No,
the,
once we're beyond the day.
I had forgotten that.
Yeah, we
I
don't
wonder-
have to worry about it.
Wonder
So
if we can like
technically-
consecrate the land and like make it an embassy, so it is
I don't think. Columbus does
technically Minerva Park soil. Hey, I think it's,
That's a very good question.
it's worth investigating.
Yeah.
that. We can always ask Brian.
So another thing that I'm just thinking about is that we have talked about a maintenance building option that seemed like it would go up relatively quickly. We are heading into the winter season where the lawnmowers and stuff are not gonna be used. Maybe that's not even an option if we can get that maintenance building up before the spring.
So two
Well-
things, we have to do a little, investigating on the buildings, if we get everything into the buildings, then that would be good. I would like personally a little more time to work on maintenance buildings, I'm sure council would, to give us a little more time to move things around. So, the building where 2 Men in a Truck are, by the way, depending on the space, and we have to call it on that one, but they have a lot of office warehouse space too there, and so they do have docks and things like that where
So
they do have internal storage.
Okay.
So we'll check that out as well.
I would, yeah, so I'm not, again, not opposed to that, provided that the space is accessible enough,
Understood.
right? Like, you know, if there's no way to get a wheelchair in there, we're probably out. That would be my opinion on the matter, right? Like, while this building is not accessible, you can get a wheelchair in here, it's just a greater effort than
Yeah,
the ADA allows.
Yeah.
And as far as that is not an issue with this one. I mean, it's a
Right, at the
typical
Northland Plaza Drive one, is what you're talking,
corporate,
corporate drive.
yeah,
yeah.
corporate.
Right.
And we have reached out to Northland Plaza as well, so we haven't really heard anything back from them. So as soon as if we get any information from them, it looked like there was some space over there, but
None of the
That would be really great.
None of the storefronts in that furthest south, strip mall, they're all full
Yasmin,
up? No, not Yasmin, the
which
furthest.
one? The very first one?
The furthest south.
When I went through there yesterday, it didn't look like there was any available.
And
The
even
only
then,
one, I shouldn't say that,
One storefront's gonna give you not enough room
No.
for everything.
you're gonna need a large.
You would need like,
On Columbus Square.
yeah, like the Yasmin size or.
Did you just say Columbus Square? There's been 3
Yeah.
shootings there in the last month, I'm
We
out.
knew each other, it's different.
No, I'm sorry.
I heard that Denny's is available.
Chief's probably gonna yell at me.
We're Denny's. Have you looked at that Denny's?
I am not, no,
Denny's would
I'm
be
not,
interesting too, but,
no. I mean, maybe it would help if the police department was there.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I-
I'm sure it
Kill
would.
2 birds with 1 stone. I'm like, I'm gonna get in trouble for this conversation when this is over. You guys started it.
I'm just thinking outside the box.
Okay, well, keep that one in the box. And for the record, I actually do go in there and get my nails done in that shopping center, so I do.
Yeah, no, I guess it is full, cause I was just looking.
Yeah,
at
I'm
it
pretty
on
sure
the
it
map.
is.
It's the one with the across.
So without continually, I know we could probably talk in circles, we let Brian talk.
Yeah, sorry,
Brian
I'm
does
boss.
agree with, Brian pretty much took the words out of my mouth from earlier. But does anybody else have any thoughts that they are not interested in moving? And again, we're not, so I can do a letter of intent. It does not hold anything other than getting the lease moving forward. You guys would be
Oh.
approving the lease? Which one?
What about the funeral home on Cleveland that's been vacant for ages?
I don't know that it's vacant, because I will tell you, there have been people there every single day that I've gone past there.
I do not, I think no one's gonna be, there's two reasons not to be comfortable with funeral, if I may. One is it's definitely the use of formaldehyde as an environmental hazard, you don't wanna put your employees in there.
Yeah.
Two,
Right.
people have issues with places that use death, as the business, so.
Not
Some
me,
do, some don't.
not me, I don't have any issue with that, so.
But I have
I've
seen a
heard-
lot of cars going in and out of there,
Yeah,
multiple
but those are just-
throughout the day, and I don't think they're just viewing it.
Those
I
are
have a
just
feeling
the
it's sold.
methods.
Just a temporary electric hookup, I think they're doing something.
I think they're doing something, yeah. I feel like
Alright.
somebody's purchased that.
Steak and Shake?
Well,
So I reached out to the number on Steak and Shake, and the
Oh,
email that I
Steak and
found, and
Shake, yeah.
getting people to respond has not been easy.
We can probably lease that, but I will tell you, it's
Yeah.
a kitchen, it's gonna be a very messy, it's gonna require a decent amount of cleanup.
Yeah.
So,
No, we've reached out to them, and again, I think we're saying that on here just because I know residents might have these questions, why didn't you try this, or why didn't you try this?
Yeah.
We have tried to reach out to the Steak and Shake building owner. The funeral home was one that we had actually, that I had thought about going and looking at, but the only reason I know people are there because I've been paying attention to it.
Yeah.
And they have been there quite a bit over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Cars parked every morning.
Any-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any apartments available in that seniors 55 plus? We could rent a couple
Thousand.
apartments. Look,
How old do I look?
I'm just looking at the map here and coming up with, anything that's
Property.
available.
You know what? I appreciate that you are thinking outside the box. I will give you
There
that.
is no box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep it closer in the box though.
Also, the other option is there is 6,000 square feet available at the Northland Center, and you would not be the first government entity to rent retail space and turn it into some
Oh.
type of usage.
Northland's, hold on.
Yeah, it's-
Where's the?
It's the Plaza record, sorry. The Northern Plaza, so the old mall.
Oh,
So that one
Yeah,
is,
no, I
see,
don't-
yeah, we've reached
Marshall's
out.
Plaza.
Why did
The old
you
one.
reach out?
Yeah, with Flint.
Which unit is it?
I'm looking.
Cause that's the one that I reached out to yesterday.
Who did you speak to?
No, I haven't had anybody call back yet.
Um,
But I just did that one, no, might not, it was Saturday.
Yeah, since I do this from a professional standpoint, let me call and then
Yeah.
get that information for you.
So I guess what I would say is that with the priorities being available within our time frame.
Correct. Willing to
Uh,
do a year lease.
willing to do a year lease, ADA accessible, and checks off as many of the boxes
Correct.
of, we can use it for our police, we can use it for our administration, we can use it for mayor's court, right? If all, that's it. And then, the numbers of dollars that we've been talking about, none of these have made me pucker. So, I
No,
think,
we've tried.
Yeah.
I will say
Yeah.
we've spent hours upon hours
yeah.
going through options.
So if someone else is welcome to say it differently or, share a different
Buying
opinion.
a house, cause that'd be 300,000, but in this market, if you have it
What's
for
our
a year,
budget?
you're
We need a
probably
budget.
gonna get
Well,
300,000.
I think
But you can't.
in the scenario,
The market could
we
crash
we
sometime.
are subject to the market and don't have the luxury of all the options, right? Like we can be super picky with a budget if we could rent anywhere and anything, and
I
then,
think we should establish a budget too though, instead of being like, what's it gonna cost, and then like.
Well, there's no reason to believe we can't get this lease property at the price that we've already said, cause we've already talked to him, we've already done all of that.
Those are
So
listed.
I would
Yeah.
say, but like he's saying, if we could get one right there as well, that would suit the needs for one more thing, including maintenance, which is obviously a huge issue. In the long run, it's gonna save money. I know this is going a little step above and beyond, but we have been talking to moving companies and we have been talking to pod rental places. And a moving company that would include the pods, and I'm not gonna go into detail on any of that yet. We're still, a lot of them don't wanna give us firm numbers until we can tell them where we're going.
yeah, where you're going and when, right?
so
Cause
yes.
those are the two.
Two major things, but we are in contact, just so you guys are aware of what we're doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Are we, is the plan to move all of our furniture into the new space, or?
I'm gonna say this nicely. Probably the tables, yes. The chairs, I would hope not. And don't take that wrong, but these are about as old as possible.
Not these chairs, but these chairs.
All of the above.
I don't mind
But
these chairs.
I'm not,
Are they
Okay.
anything special? Because I don't wanna be that person that throws away an Eames chair by mistake.
well, and I think the other part to that is, is it something that we would sell to one of the companies? Is it something that we would sell it online? Is it something we're just gonna throw away? No, we probably wouldn't throw them away. I mean, so we would potentially be looking at selling it, but as far as desks and things like that go, yes, we are planning on keeping as much of that. Some of those desks are only a couple years old, so no, we're not trying to be, we are trying to be frugal when it comes to things like that. Now, there are some desks that are probably from what year do you, throw a number out? Yeah, I mean, we have some desks that people
Those are
work.
probably real wood then,
Yes,
right?
we
Those are
probably
worth
have some that
moving.
don't match anything. There are a couple desks that match, but as far as that goes, most of the furniture does not match each other, but they're in offices. So for the most part, we will be file cabinets and things like that we plan on taking with us. We plan on using those just as they are. We are not, at this point in time, planning on buying new anything. I think the chairs are probably the biggest thing that we're interested in, getting some that maybe match. But maybe not. So yes, how much storage do we need? I don't know yet.
I'm
That's,
pretty particular about chairs, and these chairs don't seem, I mean, I know they're not nice or new or good looking, but they're perfectly comfy to sit in.
yeah, they could be worse.
Yeah.
Lots worse. So, does anybody have any questions as far as those go? Does anybody want to say anything about the three options?
I mean, to Stacy's comment or question about setting a budget, I think
Yes.
we could certainly have an informal agreement of a not more than X, right? I think the highest, least number we've heard thus far is 52 annual.
Yeah, but-
54.
So I just wanna point out, that's dependent on it's a per square foot.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Right, so
Yes.
six, and then the other one here at the mall is you're gonna get your 6,000 square foot times 12, so the highest number, so we have that on the record, would be 72, but that may include being able to put everything in there for a given. And again,
Okay,
those are negotiable starting points,
Right.
right? In
So-
those time, year's not gonna get you much down, now the mall, for all intents and purposes, have temporary leasing situations, they're used to that,
Yeah.
so they may be more negotiable than, say, an office space.
we might even, be able to negotiate something shorter than a year without an awful rate, because the sooner we can get out, the better we are,
Correct.
better off we are.
Correct.
And the Scaratorium does it, so why not us?
That's right.
Right.
So what's the range of per square foot that we're talking about? Because commercial leasing is per square foot.
It is, the range typically is, I would say, $12 at your Northland Plaza. It is roughly $12 at the building with the 3 bays. The cheapest one is the $6.50 per square foot over here at the 2 Minute Truck Building. And then the corporate lease it's the most expensive one because it's full office, I believe it was $18.95, it was a triple net. Some of these other ones are full service to modified gross, which means that they incorporate more of the cost.
Right.
Yeah.
So why don't we, for Stacy's comfort and just general back of the envelope, maybe we say we are targeting as close to that $12 a square foot
Yeah.
as is possible, so that we
Okay,
are.
whoa, you're not figuring it correctly. I'm gonna tell you it this way,
Okay.
$12 a square foot, but I would set it as a total because
Okay.
he's talking 6,000 square foot at $12. We're talking,
You're limited by each of what's.
Yeah, no matter
the
what.
market, so that's.
Well,
So,
yeah.
you're not
this
gonna
is
less than
42,
6,000.
the only reason I'm saying it is
Oh, I
because the
know,
only
but no
one that we
matter-
have confirmed is $18 a square foot for 2,200 square feet, which does suit our needs.
Alright.
6,000 square feet.
So what's that
That's a
number?
lot
The
of
total
square
there
feet.
was
Well, it's
42?
40, I'm saying I would set it as a
Yeah,
total
I-
dollar number versus a square foot number because,
I, see, and that's why I am less comfortable with setting a number anyways, because I think we will close ourselves off to good options.
I agree, and we could still, so what I'm gonna say is, we're still gonna present you the options, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you guys can make a decision at that point.
and you're
I
not,
think
we're not
that's
gonna
the
do it
best
via
way.
email. I mean, it
Stacy,
has to be in public.
You've heard a few more numbers, are you?
I just
More-
want numbers on a page, I'm a numbers person, this is like, I need
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah, well, we're not to that point yet, but
It-
the range that
yes.
we're talking about at the high end was 72,000 for a year, for enough room to
Incorporate
do all of our stuff and maybe a roller rink,
Right,
That's fine.
right? And then on the low end, it was 25, but that was.
may not include anything.
May not include anything.
May have extras that you need.
May
to
need
add on.
pods and may need a shed for storage equipment, there you go, so,
I just want a number and I wanna know what that number is and what that
yeah,
includes.
when,
Because my brain doesn't just remember random, like,
yeah, when,
overall things, like, I need details in order to understand it, in order to remember.
Yeah,
So
when-
I need somebody to show their work.
We'll put it all in front of you when we
when,
have
yeah, when we
something.
get to a
In a
decision.
timely manner.
I'm gonna tell you, my hope and plan is we would go see a couple more properties this week, as long as we can get into them. Get you guys some numbers. I have no problem emailing them out, obviously I don't want, conducting business on there, but emailing them out for your guys' reference. And then having some of the decisions made around the same time, assuming that council passes the other. Because I don't wanna, obviously, we're not gonna do anything before that's done.
Right.
That said, if we can do one of these for 2 or 3 properties, we will. With
Yeah.
price per square foot, how many square feet, what boxes does it
Yeah,
check?
That's perfect, I want that, yep.
Perfect. If
That
we
is
can-
not an
If we
issue.
can aim for that for Thursday of next week, that would be
I
optimal.
here's what I would like to do. Be done with this on Thursday.
Perfect.
So, no, if we don't have it, at some point, we have to do something.
Yeah.
So if there are no more viable options, we're going back to, this is what option we have.
Yeah, right, no, that's,
Trailer.
at some point, you've gotta cut bait and deal with
Correct.
what you got.
Yeah,
Yes.
time, then money, then,
Yes, I agree.
yep.
Okay,
Okay, so I think we've done that. Legislation.
Actually, before legislation, and I know it's not on the agenda, generally don't we have citizens' comments?
This is not on the agenda, you don't have to have citizens comment.
yeah, that's, so, our regular agenda for a regularly scheduled council meeting includes that. This is a special council meeting.
Okay.
And as such, does not follow that format.
I was just gonna bring that up is all. All right, then we get into legislation. So our first legislative item, ordinance 24/2022, an ordinance accepting a certain bid from Weaver Commercial Contracting, Inc. for remodeling and construction of the Myrna Park Municipal Building and declaring an emergency. This is a second reading. This is for the big remodel, tear down, all of that of the community center here and build back up of it. Current bid price is $3,153,000. Second read, anyone have any comments on it?
Yeah, when, aren't we supposed to have a discussion at some point on the options?
Could we?
Yes, and the problem is this is switched on us and the attorney's out of town, so we'll have a discussion by the legislative committee, since that is still Thursday, to my understanding.
Yeah,
And we'll
well,
have
not Thursday of this week, Thursday of next week.
Thursday
Oh.
of next week.
Do you wanna
So we
switch that
will-
Yeah.
we will get-
I totally messed you
okay.
up. Or do you wanna do it this Thursday, legislation? We moved it to the 18th because instead of the 25th, and I did that.
I'm available too.
I'd rather do it the 18th. I have something the 25th that I don't want to have to
Yeah,
get
and
there.
actually, I'm sorry, next week, just for your own schedule, I'm out of town for the 24th, so this week.
All right, so yeah, so Thursday this
Legislation.
week, we're still doing legislative committee,
At
I was
6:30,
gonna be here,
still.
I'm out.
6:30?
Well, is that what it was?
6:30.
It was at 6:30?
All right,
Are you
perfect.
good with that?
Works for me.
Is still on Thursday, okay,
And that's where we're gonna discuss.
We'll discuss the
Okay.
alternates and we'll have that ready for you.
perfect. Thank you. Everybody did get,
Although
the-
looking
all
at
that,
the
okay.
calendar on the website, it is not on there yet, I don't believe.
We will make sure it is,
For the 18th.
at 6:30.
Is it on there?
It's wait, we had to wait for signatures and not everybody's here all at the
Okay.
same time, so it's in process.
Okay.
It'll be on
awesome.
there tomorrow.
I just wanted to make, I just like that.
Legislation,
Certainly, thanks.
Yeah,
legislation.
yeah, legislation.
All right.
Okay, resolution 2022-20, a resolution authorizing a contract with Buckeye Lawn Barbers for leaf pickup. And this is our third reading. It looks like we are gonna enter into, in possibility, a contract with Buckeye Lawn Barbers to, come haul our leaves away as they have done in the past and other companies have done in the past. The cost of the program is $28,000. And Anyone have anything to say about that before I call a vote?
Nope.
So you have to move, you have to make a
Well,
motion.
yeah, I know, but make the motion. I move that we approve that.
Second.
She said.
Ooh,
Stacy
Yeah.
seconded it.
okay. And, sorry, I'm fixing my thing. Okay, Councilperson Camera,
Aye.
Councilperson Koss,
Aye.
Councilperson Bruger,
Aye.
Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Okay.
He was giving a thought there, he's like, I don't have any leaves in my yard. I'm not sure.
What are leaves?
Yet.
Okay, moving on to resolution 2022-22, which currently I still have August 25th on my thing twice.
Did we fix the date on that to the 18th, the lakes?
No, it's the.
Is it still showing the 18th?
2022-22 has a double August 25th.
Oh, that's right.
Instead of August
Then
15th.
just amend it to be passed tonight.
That's, we'll vote for passage tonight, and then the form that you sign just
Yes,
needs to
we
be
gotta fix it.
updated.
We
The
will.
one when you sign it.
Beautiful.
Ah, gotcha, 'cause that, yeah, that is the third.
Yes, we are.
Okay, a resolution authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into contract with Jacobs Engineering / CM2H Hill for the 2022 Lake Master Plan proposal and declaring it an emergency. This is, of course, coming up with a plan for how to fix our lakes. That costs not to exceed $75,000. And this is a third reading, so I'm gonna move that we pass this as an emergency so we can get moving on it.
Second.
Moved and
Ask a
seconded. Any-
Question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So, I happened to, have a conversation with the Aqueduct
Yes.
guy the other day.
Mhm.
Matt, I think is his name, that owns it. And so he asked me about this, we were talking about this for a moment, and I'm just curious, does their company do anything like this? Was that an option?
They do services.
They just do
Yeah.
services,
This
they
is
wouldn't do
major
any type
engineering,
of.
no, it's
Yeah.
very different, this is specialty stuff.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
Because he seemed awful curious about the whole process.
Yeah.
You can bid for the work, but there'll be a lot of work coming
Right,
up when they're
right.
done with it.
And they probably do maintenance and things like that on it, but
Right,
it was,
okay.
yeah.
This is getting engineers out, taking soil
Right.
samples and depths and
Hydraulic.
charting the top, the lake bottom.
All right,
Okay, I think we're ready for a vote.
Council President Wolf,
Aye.
Councilperson Camera,
Aye.
Councilperson Koss,
Aye.
Councilperson Bruger.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, now we have a first one, okay. Resolution 2022-24, a resolution authorizing and approving the execution of a contract with Flowline LLC for inspection, cleaning, and video recording of certain sanitary sewers. Costs shall not exceed $30,000 without further approval by council. This is just a first reading.
This is second reading, isn't it?
No, this one's first.
Okay.
Well, I don't know,
okay.
August 11th,
Okay,
it's another one of these where it says August 11th, August 25th. So yes, this is a second reading.
we didn't do first on that, no. We'll make sure
So
that the
there was a
dates,
first reading on August 11th?
no, we did not,
Okay,
because I just did it.
alright, sorry Barb,
And then, just
first reading.
just for, just to mention this, this is something that we will be discussing, for streets. This is just the first reading, to go over where we're at and, what we're doing, and
Yep.
we have not discussed this in the actual
Committee, yeah.
committee yet, so this is why
Okay.
we're just doing first readings, no emergency, no anything. I wanna make sure that this is exactly what they wanted to do, but I wanted to get the reading started.
Okay, and I seem to see the problem here, I think I might even have just the old packet, these are all meant for a meeting that was supposed to be next week and not today, and that's why I'm
That's fine.
confused.
We will
Alright.
make sure dates are correct on everything once this is over, I'll make sure that we have them.
Alright, moving on to resolution 2022-25, a resolution authorizing and approving the execution of a contract with Flowline LLC for inspection, cleaning, and video recordings of certain storm sewers. This sounds very familiar.
One is sanitary, one is storm.
One is sanitary, one is storm. Thank you, I did not hear that difference when I read them. This one's not to exceed $51,000. Also a first reading.
These are scheduled maintenance
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, so, what we
Very much so.
what we do is we were doing every single year.
There's a rotation.
We have a rotation, we do a different section. Sanitary, we're getting ready to start all over again, and so yes, each year we do,
About a seventh of the village.
yeah, like a seventh of the village, and
Right.
it's heavy cleaning, they televise it, if there's issues or problems, they bring back and say, this is what I would recommend fixing. Since we have already done the major repairs, these ones should be pretty light as we go through here.
And these
Yeah,
are
fingers crossed,
Yeah.
Budgeted, these are budgeted and.
every year.
Yeah, and they come out of the funds that are put
Yes.
aside, so.
Yes, these are budgeted every year. The issue this year was, because of diesel fuel pricing and things like that, the amount that we were quoted was definitely higher than what we budgeted for. So, you guys may even need to see some appropriations and things like that over by the time the next meeting rolls around. But again, I want streets to be able to talk about it first.
I just think it's good to say it when.
Absolutely.
Such high ticket items.
It is.
that
Mhm.
It's nice to know that we
Yes.
planned for this.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
are,
this is part of the strategic budget, so. to
Cause
Yeah.
you got me,
Yeah.
no, absolutely,
Good for the record.
yes.
Although this year, as the mayor said, there might be some additional appropriations, meaning,
Sure.
oh, when your job is to stand next to a truck that's idling for 8 hours,
On diesel
when gas,
fuel, right.
when gas goes up,
Right.
Yeah,
cost of business goes up.
Okay.
absolutely.
Got it.
All right, old business. Does anybody have anything for old business?
Just a reminder for a meeting on Wednesday.
Okay,
With the Jordan Road Park Lane residents to discuss our plans for the Jordan Road project and discuss their kind of options, so everybody's on the same page.
okay, so I have a question about that.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we turning that into an actual streets meeting? Will we have 3 or more members? If we have 3 or more members, it needs to be a meeting. If we have less than 3 members, it could just be a meeting with residents, which is
I believe
a,
it was just a meeting with residents,
Yeah.
I will be there, Mike Flickinger will be there just for.
so are you planning on attending? Are you planning? Because I mean, that's important. Yeah, if we have a quorum,
It's forward.
4, yeah.
Four is a quorum, but
Right.
we've always posted committee meetings as well.
This isn't really a committee, yeah, I
Right,
think that's the
but
problem.
I think the.
I don't have a problem
are we
posting.
Just post it.
Just post it?
Yeah.
Better to post
Perfect.
it and, you know.
If you want everybody to know what's going on, I mean,
Oh, it's being posted online and everything too. So that wasn't the thing. I just didn't know if we could post it and not have,
So does that
For
mean
there.
we're making an official streets committee meeting for Wednesday?
yes.
Okay, what time is that?
6, 7, hold on.
I think it's a 6.
6.
And that'll just be here?
I passed out the flyers, I don't
I
know.
believe it was, is it here?
Yes, it is here.
Okay, because I was gonna drive to Jordan Road.
No, it is here.
It is at 6 o'clock.
Because if it's a streets meeting, I need to be here because I'm on that committee. If it was not, I might not have
See,
been
that's why I
here.
was trying to determine if it's a meeting or not.
Yeah, if it's a meeting, I'll be there. If not,
Okay.
I'll
Um,
probably flake out.
okay. Any other old business? Any new business? Brian?
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Any opposed, abstentions? Get out of here.
Where do you come up with that?
Well, we would have paid 1.7.